Hello Pastorgeorgec. I will try to answer your questions, and I ask that you answer these questions yourself, from your own perspective, to give me a little more insight into your reasons for asking. First off, and with no offense intended, I feel that your questions are loaded with the assumption that a Christian can be expected to conduct themselves with a certain level of courtesy, compassion, empathy and kindness. I understand why you would leap to this conclusion, but I do not understand why you would expect me and other atheists to feel the same. Likewise, I would not expect you to be met with such courtesy were you to stumble into the random conversation with a group of young atheists eager to have their voices heard and their points made. But were I to wander into that same conversation, I would be met with nothing but respect and eager discussion. I believe the issue of discourtesy between us has little to do with whether or not we are Christian, atheist, Muslim, or one of those people who waves crystals about and thinks they are performing magic, and more to do with the fact that we are all just people, with egos and pride in our beliefs and our intelligence, particularly when we are young. It is hard to have a conversation about such things without stepping on each other's toes and resorting to derisive arguments which usually boil down to, you don't agree with me because you don't understand a fundamental truth which I do understand, which sort of contains the statement, you're wrong because I'm smarter than you are. That being said, I do have a scale by which I measure whether or not I believe someone to be truly religious, Christian, or otherwise. I measure their belief based on their knowledge. Particularly their knowledge of the religion they belong to, but also on their knowledge in general. Their knowledge of other religions, because this shows me that they have looked for God in other scripture and decided upon reflection which of the holy books truly contains the word of their Lord, and on their knowledge of the sciences, which tells me they are aware of the various endeavors of man, the results our experiments have yielded, the conclusions we have drawn from them and why. But it is far more important and to be expected, I think, that they have a thorough knowledge of their own faith. If they take their scripture literally, I expect them to have read their holy book many times, and to have reflected upon its content with great care and consideration to show they are fully aware of what it is they are claiming to be literally true. If they do not believe the scripture is to be taken entirely literally, then I think they should be able to explain which parts they believe are literal and which are allegorical, and on what authority they base the decision to dismiss parts of a book they themselves claim to be holy. It should be said that it is not this scale on which I judge whether people are good or decent, or even genuine. I do not expect every Christian I meet to be a professor of theology. If I meet a friendly Christian who does not meet these rigorous standards, I tend to focus on the friendly part and leave the religious part to its own endeavors, but in my mind I cannot help but judge them to be ignorant of their own faith. If you believe in something, but you do not truly know what it is and what its consequences are, then you really believe in something of your own invention. You believe in the Christianity you have made up in your own head, which is fine by me, but it's not really Christianity. It should also be said that I judge atheists by the same process. Frequently I come across atheists who use scientific arguments to make their point, or to refute the point of a religious counterpart, and a lot of the time the argument they make betrays a gross misunderstanding of the scientific principle on which the argument is based. This doesn't make them bad people, or even disingenuous. After all, they truly believe their argument to be true, but if you do not truly understand the theory of evolution and the process of natural selection, but you still believe in them, then you believe in the version of evolution you have made up in your own head, which is fine by me, but it's not really science.